All righty. Well, hello and thank you for joining us for our first official 2021-2022 academic year event for the Study Abroad office at the University of Portland. My name is Marina Montgomery and I am the new director for Study Abroad here at UP. And I'm really excited to share this time with you and also my colleague, Dr. Eduardo Contreras, the Associate Provost for International Education, Diversity and Inclusion. And so this first presentation is one of 7 that we will be recording and facilitating today and tomorrow. And it's only fit that we start with UP's Hallmark program in Salzburg, Austria. And so we're really happy that those of you who are here could join us, and we look forward to engaging with those who watch the recording thereafter. So for today's discussion, this is meant to be an introduction to the program, and it will open up all of the ways that you can continue to learn more, as well as we'll inform you of some time that you can spend in person with us, directly discussing the program through one-on-one advising or group advising in the Buckley Center. And so we'll give an overview of the program, we'll discuss the application process, we'll make a note about the status of COVID right now in Austria, and then there'll be a little quiz to see what you've retained. And again, we'll point you in the direction of alumni who have participated in the program that work on our staff, as well as professional staff that can support you. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Contreras. Eddie, if you'd like to take over.
Sure thing. Thanks, Marina. I'm very excited to be here with you all to talk about this program. It is the oldest program at UP, and I am the oldest member of the staff, so I am going to talk about it. I've had the pleasure of visiting the Salzburg Center now 5 times, and I just love it. I love the program. So as you see here, we have really 4 different types of programs, but they're all at the same center. So we'll talk about fall, spring, full year, and we'll have a separate session for summer, but we just want to mention it here up front. On average, during the academic year, up to 40 UP students stay at the center. And so in the next slide, we'll talk about the fall program. So the fall program is really designed to support our College of Arts and Science students and our nursing students. So there really are, we recruit nursing students at this time because this is the best time and sometimes the only time for them to study abroad. They can take courses in all of the areas that you see there. So English, fine arts, philosophy, political science, theology. There's going to be a German requirement, and we're right now working out the details of that. Nursing students also have to take a course that is online that is connected to the nursing program. And so you can get your core courses done in a fall semester. I'll talk a little bit about the spring program as well. So spring courses, our spring semester is designed for, again, arts and science students can certainly take courses in the spring, but engineering and business students, we're really looking for those folks to apply. So if you're engineering and business, this is a good time for you to apply for these programs. All students in either semester, fall or spring, are required to take 15 credits, including the German language. In the spring, our engineering students actually take 2 3-credit courses in the city of Wels at the University of Applied Sciences in Upper Austria. That's the university name. And they take dynamics and mechanics of materials. So if any of you all are engineering students, you have to take those 2 classes, unless you're CS, but we can talk about the details of that. Computer science majors have a little more flexibility. And then we have in the spring the standard slate of offerings: fine arts, history, philosophy, theology, and geography. And again, there will be a German requirement, language or culture that we'll share. Some of these courses may change, but generally speaking, you can expect to have these courses on the schedule. If you're interested in the full year program, essentially you would be able to take the full year and get core credits. Ideally, those students who do the full year are arts and sciences majors, and you would have to carefully look at your schedule and take the proper courses in the fall and the spring. But the program was originally designed as a year-long program, so there are avenues for students who want to do the full year there to do that if they're so inclined. So we'll go to the next slide here and talk about the style of living. So it is a center. We have 2.5 buildings. One building is the classes. There's 2 classes. There's a seminar room, and then there's a big classroom that has projection and holds about 40 people. And then that building has the offices, and then above it there's a penthouse where there's student living. And then there's one building that's all dorms. We have doubles and triples, some singles, but not very many. And then there's an on-site kitchen, a very large kitchen where our students typically gather for breakfast and dinner. And lunch is served off-site at a cafeteria that's about a block away that serves traditional Austrian food. And there's a UP resident director who lives on site with the student. This is a professional who works with students and helps to build the residence life so that you all can, when you go on excursions in the fall, you go on an excursion to Vienna and Paris, at least we did before COVID. And in the spring, students go to Italy and Greece, and the resident director joins you on those excursions. Those are all part of the fees, so that's paid for. And it's also integrated into your courses, so you'll get to learn about the places that you're studying when you go visit them. Next slide, let's see. So this is a very, these are sites of the center. The first shot there was the room, then there was a balcony. This is just a couple days old. This is the students who are there right now in the common area. And that's the classroom that I mentioned. That is the main classroom. That is where you'll have most of your classes. Some of the smaller language classes and some of the smaller courses are taken in a seminar room. So you have a big table and you sit around the table and chat. But that's the main room. And that is Laura, our resident director, with a very traditional Austrian plate of schnitzel and potatoes. This is very common to what you'll be seeing there. A lot of potatoes. There are veg options if you're vegetarian. There are vegan options if you're vegan. It takes a little bit more work than it does here in Portland to find those options, but they are available and there are people there to help you. And certainly when we provide food at the center, there are a variety of options, so you can have different types of food, but it is definitely a culture that enjoys its meat. So you will see that plenty. But that's what the center looks like. A few great pictures that Laura sent us over just a couple days ago, I think. These are the program fees as they sit right now. These might adjust a little bit, but this is projected based on our previous fees. So if you're going for just one semester, it'll be about $34,000. That includes housing, food, tuition, and local travel. That doesn't include your flight to and from wherever you live in the United States to Austria, and it doesn't include any independent travel. And then, of course, it doesn't include any independent expenses that you have for gifts or shopping or going out or things like that. Full year, you can expect about $69,000, again, for those same things: tuition, housing, food, and program excursions. And then summer's probably going to be about $6,500. Summer doesn't include food, but like I said, we'll have a special session for summer. You do have to get a visa to go to Salzburg. It's a little bit of a different process if you go for the full year versus if you go for a semester. And it's a little bit of a different process if you go as a nursing student versus as an engineering student. But we'll help you through all of that. We'll mention this later, but now's a good time to get a passport if you don't already have one. So get a passport, because the passport is necessary for you to go anywhere. And the passport is what the folks who will assign the visas to you will need to physically stamp the visa to. So you'll need that well in advance of applying. All right. And there's scholarships available. We have a number of scholarships dedicated specifically to Salzburg. There's like I said, a long history of it here at University of Portland. And so a lot of alumni have donated funding to support students. And so there's a UP scholarship specifically for Salzburg that you can see up there in blue. And then there's some other national scholarships that you can apply for to help support your time abroad from organizations like the Gilman, which is sponsored by the US State Department, in partnership with IIE, the Fund for Education Abroad, and the Diversity, an organization called Diversity Abroad that has its own scholarships, but also has access to other scholarships for different historically minoritized groups. All right, I think this is turning back over to the director.
Thank you, Eddie. Yes, as mentioned, he is the expert on this. So I'd like to share, though, the application process that we're putting together for this upcoming year. And currently we use a software called VIA TRM. And on our website, when you're looking for program information, you'll be directed to create a VIA TRM account. So once you've done that, you'll be able to look at all of the different programs that we offer and then apply directly through VIA. But before applying, it's really important that you work with your academic counselor to confirm that the courses offered fit well into your major, your minor scheme or curriculum. Thereafter, if you have additional questions about courses or about the experience, we welcome you into the Study Abroad office in person or remotely to discuss whatever questions you have. So there's peer advisors, some who have gone to Salzburg, others who haven't, but who are becoming experts at understanding the details. And so we're all happy to speak to you and answer the questions that you may have. And then once you are confirmed that or confident that you'd like to select Salzburg as your program for study, then you'll start an application through VIA. It's important that you only start and complete one application so that when we're processing your information, we know exactly which program you're applying to. The application shouldn't take any more than 45 minutes to complete, but it will really depend on the amount of detail and time that you put into the essay questions and the short answer questions that we offer. And the application this year, the deadline for the application this year is November 1st. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about what makes an application strong. And as I mentioned, there's some essay questions and there's even a bonus question that encourages you to think about where you are right now at this point in your life. And so answering those questions completely, even each of the parts that they ask for, is really important. Also, ensuring that the essays that you're writing are grammatically correct and have a nice flow. So asking someone that you know possibly to read over it, or at the very least reading it aloud for yourself, will ensure that the information that you're hoping to relay comes across clearly to those who are reviewing it. And again, well, I'd like to share that as a student who's studying abroad, you are entering into a community, not just a community of the people who live in the country, or in this case in Salzburg, but you're entering into a community of other UP students who are traveling together. So in your application, stating how you aim to contribute to the host country, the host community, as well as the study abroad cohort and the classroom experience is really something that we look for in a strong application. And so a quick mention about COVID. Right now we have students who are currently in Salzburg for the semester as well as the full year, and they've all been vaccinated, like I'm sure most or all of you, because that's a UP requirement. And that is what the Austrian government requires as well for study abroad students. So you have to make sure that you're fully vaccinated by the time that you travel, and understand that the country is at a level 3, and so there is a risk. So continuing to maintain those practices of washing your hands, remaining socially distant, wearing a face mask, those are all things that will be required at the center and that we would expect that you continue to do when you're out in the Austrian Salzburg community. So at this point, we'd like to gauge what you remember from this presentation. And I'm actually going to stop the recording so that we can hear from you directly. Give me 1 second, please.